All right, everybody. This is my presentation that I did. I did my project on CO2 car design and construction. The objective of the lesson is to design a CO2 car using a tablet-based design program. We're going to use this to replace the current techniques of using graph paper with a 21st century technology. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to design their CO2 car, cut out the shape, and they will actually, at the end of the whole unit, have a completed CO2 car that they're going to race for the class to see who's the fastest and so forth and so on. CO2 car designs. When designing a CO2 car, it's important to have both the top and the side views. The reason you do this is will be shown later on, but when you decide you're going to cut out your car, you put the side view on the side, top view on the top, and then you cut it out, and that gives you both sides of it. So you cut the side view out first, you'll tape it to it, then you'll cut the top view out, and then when it's said and done with, you will have your car in the middle. And like I said, that'll be shown a little later on. Aerodynamics. Aerodynamics are a very important thing when it comes to CO2 cars or any kind of car. What car is going to be faster? A sleek Formula One racer or a minivan? You can only do so much with motor and power alone. You need to be able to have something that's going to let the air cut through. For an example of this, when I was younger, I had an old Camaro, and when you get to speed on the highway, it just the wind made an ungodly noise because what it was doing was it was just like wasn't a very shapely car. It had the windshield was almost completely vertical, so you can just hear the wind growling at you. And this is something I was displaying with the students when it comes to aerodynamics, the study of moving air and their interaction between air and solid bodies that are moving through it. Strength versus weight. This is very big. When you see CO2 cars, you'll notice that there's many different designs. The following slides that will be coming up, I will be showing different ones. First thing you want to do is make a very light car. But the problem with making a very light car, and the students will see this, is that the lighter it is, the thinner it has to be and the weaker it makes it. Therefore, they do have the tendency of breaking. When I go through this with students, you're always going to have one or two cars that do break because they make them too lightweight, they make them too thin, and they're too fragile. Right here you see a stronger, heavy car. This car has got a solid body. It's thick, it's heavy. But the problem with having a car like this is that now, although it might be strong, A, this one doesn't look very aerodynamic, and B, it's going to be a heavier car. So when you're trying to race these things to see which one goes faster, you're going to have problems with that because it just weighs so much more. This car here is very light. If you can see, the body is very skinny. Now, what I've seen happen in cars like this that are very light and very skinny like this, they do break right on the spine in the middle. They have a tendency of breaking. And the reason being, right over here, the reason being that is it's so skinny that wood has natural defects in it. We're just going to use regular pine to make the cars. The grain's there, it does split sometimes on the grain, and that's going to give you some problems. So once you have an idea, once you think about it, what we're going to do, the next step the kids are going to do is do thumbnail drawings. All thumbnail drawings are, to explain on this slide here, is they are just sketches. It's just a rough sketch, what you might want your car to look like. Thing with kids and thing with projects like this are that they see these projects, they see pictures and they see examples of them, and a lot of students follow things where they turn out to be somewhat the same because their idea process works on what they've seen in the past. For example, you might have many cars that look like this. Cars that are skinny in the middle, bigger in the back. Just because that's what they saw, that might be the way they go with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do thumbnail drawings and make each student come up with 10 different ideas. Once you have 10 ideas, then you can go on from that. Now, once we have our thumbnail drawings drawn out, the next step is going to be to design the actual car. We're going to use a program on our tablets or iPads called iDesign. iDesign is an app that can be used on an iPad or iPhone. It also has a computer software version, and what works with that is that it's in real time, so you can collaborate, you can edit different things. We're going to use this because I like the idea of drawing out our cars on the computer rather than just with paper and pencil. It's nice because, like I said, you can collaborate. So I can go into it at the end of the day and I can edit things and give them ideas to how to solve it and make it a little better. Right here, we just have a video. It's a little long. I think it's about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and that goes over all the different features that iDesign has. What I plan is to do is to show this video to the students, give them an idea of what the program is and what they can do with it before we get started. Now, once they have a general idea, I mean, this is probably going to take a day to go over the video and give them ideas, and I'm going to let them spend the day just playing around with the program, doing different things, just so they can get a feel for it. This is important because the longer you do with it, the better you're going to get. It's not easy at first. Any kind of drafting computer software is not easy to use at first either. It takes time to figure out. There's different commands and different so forth and so on, different settings. So that's just something that's going to take a little time. So we're going to run through it. I'll show them what to do, let them play with it for a while, come up with ideas from that. Now the procedures for the CO2 cars. We're going to watch the video, and then they're going to have to draw on their screen 2 boxes. One's going to be 3 inches by 10 inches, and one's going to be 1.5 inches by 10 inches. The 3-inch by 10-inch box is going to be the side view. That's where they're going to draw what the side of their car is going to look like. The 1.5 by 10-inch box will be the top view. That's where they're going to draw the top of their view. The students need to draw the car, but the views are the side views. If they're looking at it eye level, it's exactly what they're going to see. The top view is the same deal. If they're looking down from the top, standing directly over it, that's what they see when they look down at it. That way you have 2 sides, top and the side. And then with one side you have the other side, and the bottom view is just going to be a flat, straight area. That's because it needs to be somewhere to put the hooks for the string and for the wheels to sit. Now, once they're drawn out, the teacher will approve the design. Then the students will print out their design. Once the design is printed, what they're going to do is they're going to take it. They're going to glue the side view to one side, top view to the top side using a 3M adhesive. And what that's going to do is that's going to give them a template where they're going to cut directly out what they're cut out. The other beauty part about doing it on the computer instead of with paper and pencil is now they can have as many copies as they want. Just print it out. If they make a mistake, they can just print it out again, rather than having to go to the place and make Xerox copies. Now this video here is a brief video. It shows how they're going to cut out the car. If you look, the lines aren't on paper that's glued to it. The lines are actually drawn out onto the car, the top view and side view. All right. Using the bandsaw, they'll cut out the lines. Now when they're done cutting out the lines, they're going to file it and sand it. This is what gives them the overall shape of their car. This is an important part because this is going to give them what their final design, what they finally want to look like. Shaped very nicely, shaped very smooth. And finally, they're going to paint it and assemble it. And then we'll test it a bunch of times and so forth and so on. Now, if you look here, this is different views of CO2 car. Here's your top view. Here's your side view. Okay. This square represents where your motor goes. That's going to be important that they have to draw it on that too. Once it's printed out and cut out, they glue them down to the wood. See, that's what this is going to look like. They don't have to really cut the shape out. It's just they can, but this is going to be glued down to the wood, and that's what they're going to use to actually cut out the shape of their car. Once it's cut, it looks something similar to this. This has been sanded a little bit, but it's not completely done. Their shape will vary because their cars are going to be different than these. They're not all going to be the same. I want the students to all have different cars. And the final product is going to be something, again, there'll be something similar to these. You see you got different shapes. They're all painted up nice, put numbers on them, make them look like actual race cars, which is fun. The students enjoy this. It gives them a little bit of competition. And then finally, you have your video of the students racing the cars. This just shows how a CO2 car race is done. Video found on YouTube. What's very nice about this is it's a little competitive. You can run it in a bracket elimination style like they do with basketball games or hockey games, things like that. That way they have fun, it keeps it competitive, and they want to do their best. The reason, like I said before, that I went from drafting with paper and pencil and I brought up to the iDesign is because you can do different things. It's easy to edit it, there's no erasing, and it brings them to the 21st century. This is the kind of software they find if they go into architecture, things of that nature. This is a kind of like an AutoCAD program, whereas 20, 30 years ago, people would draft everything with papers and pencils. This is technology industry is moving away from drafting, and it goes more towards this. So this involves new computer programs with existing technology class projects, namely CO2 cars. Here's my contact information if anybody needs me, my email address, my phone number, any questions or concerns, or just need anything to talk about, give me a call or send me an email. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.